Hello, we are in chapter 5. It is all about divide decimals. Let us read the Bible verse together. Be strong and courageous. The Lord your God will be with you. Joshua chapter 1 verse 9. Okay, in this chapter we have learnt divide a decimal by a whole number, divide a decimal by another decimal, and how to add zeros to the dividend, right? Today we will see another model. Here we have to divide a whole number by a decimal. This is another important model. Okay, we will see how to do this kind of problem. Before we set up the long division, look at the divisor. If it is a decimal, we should change the decimal into a whole number. Okay guys, first I will write dividend and this is divisor. First we are going to change the divisor. This is a decimal. We are going to change a decimal into a whole number. For that, we multiply the divisor 1 and 2 tenths by base 10 number. What are base 10 numbers? 10, 100, 1000, and so on. Here we should multiply 1 and 2 tenths by 10. Why? Because there is one digit after the decimal, right? That is why we are multiply 1 and 2 tenths by 10. Okay, there is another important point here. Whenever you multiply the divisor by any base 10 number, we should multiply the dividend also by the same number. Okay, so I'm multiplying 1 and 2 tenths by 10. So that we have to multiply dividend also, the 9 also by 10. So 9 times 10 is 90 divided by 1 and 2 tenths times 10. So ignore the decimal and multiply. 12 and 10, 120. Now place the decimal from right to left by one place. Now 12. So 90 divided by 12. Set up the long division. 90 is the dividend and 12 is the divisor. How many whole groups of 12 we can pull out of 90? We know the 12 table very well. 12 times 7 is 84. And 12 times 8 is 96, right? Yeah, so 84. So 12 times 7 is 84. 7 and 84. Take away 84 from 90. So 0, we can't take away 4 from 0. That is why we have to borrow 1 from 9. So 0 becomes 10 and 9 becomes 8. Do everything in your mind. So 10 minus 4 is 6. 8 minus 8 is 0. So we are not going to stop the long division here with the remainder 6. We already learned this, right? Okay, now when we add decimal to the quotient, we can continue the long division by adding zeros to the dividend. So 0 and bring down the 0. 60. How many whole groups of 12 we can pull out of 60? Exactly. 12 times 5 is 60. Now write 5 in the quotient. 60. 0 is the remainder. I got 7 and 5 tenths in the quotient. That is the answer. Now we'll see the next model. 20 divided by 0 and 16 hundredths. Here we have to divide a whole number by a decimal, right? First, I have to change the decimal into a whole number. For that, we multiply the divisor 0 and 16 tenths by 100. Why? Because after the decimal, there are two digits. That is why I'm multiplying 0 and 16 tenths by 100. Whenever we multiply the divisor by any base 10 number, we have to multiply the dividend also by the same number. That is the rule. So 20 times 100 is 2000 divided by 0 and 16 hundredths times 100. Ignore the decimal and multiply. 16 times 100 is 1600. Now place the decimal. After the decimal, there are two digits. So place the decimal exactly in between 6 and 0. You can cancel these zeros. So we got 16. Now set up the long division. So 2000 is the dividend and 16 is the divisor. So we will 16. The dividend is two-digit number. So first we will take first two digits. How many whole groups of 16 we can pull out of 20? Exactly 1. 16 times 1 is 16. We can't take away 6 from 0, so borrow 1 from 2. So it becomes 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. 1 minus 1 is 0. The next number 0 comes down, right? 16. How many whole groups of 16 we can pull out of 40? 16 times 3. We'll try 16 times 3. 16 times 3 is 48. So 16 times 2, 32. Yeah, definitely 16 times 2 is 32. I will choose that multiple. So 16 times 2 is 32. Again, borrow 1 from 4. It becomes 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. 3 minus 3 is 0. The next number, 0. Write it down. Now, 16 times 5 is 80, right? So exactly 16 times 5 is 80. So 0 is the remainder. Now 125 is the quotient. That is the answer. Now you know how to divide a whole number by a decimal. It is your turn. Try these 3 questions in your notebook.